This is the Pixel 7 Pro, Google's latest and greatest phone in my opinion, and definitely something that should be on your radar if you're in the Android ecosystem and are thinking about getting an upgrade. Now I've had this phone for about 2 months now, and in a nutshell, the Pixel 7 Pro is quite an improvement from last year's Pixel 6 Pro. If y'all remember, that was the phone in which Google was making a statement letting folks like Apple and Samsung know that it's not out of the game yet. And even though it was a loud enough device to get people's attention, it did have some Gen 1 challenges that often comes with a bold new design. The Pixel 7 Pro, however, was able to iron out a lot of those wrinkles, and this is by far the most refined Pixel Google has ever made. So today I want to go over how my experience has been using this phone to give you a little bit more of a long-term type review to help you decide if this is the Pixel that's right for you. So first, let's talk about the Pixel 7 Pro's design and how it's held up over the past 2 months. So from a form factor standpoint, it's definitely an iterative update from last year's Pixel 6 lineup, but one that is nonetheless refined and pretty well executed. It has a very premium build, having glass on both the front and back that's connected together by a nice aluminum frame that's also slightly color matched. One of the more notable changes Google went with is this new camera bar in the back. I am glad that it's still there. It's become the de facto signature design element of the Pixel at this point, and rather than using glass and making it a separate piece, the housing is now made out of metal and is actually an extension of the phone's frame itself. This makes for a more polished look, and when paired with a large 6.7-inch edge-to-edge slightly curved display, no doubt the Pixel 7 Pro looks and feels like a bona fide premium device. And I definitely stand by that sentiment, but there are 2 things that I've noticed about the design from a long-term review perspective. Number 1, the Pixel 7 Pro is by far the most glossy and slippery phone I've ever used. Like, I'm not even joking, no matter what surface this phone is on, it will start slipping off of it within a matter of seconds, and you will get smudges everywhere when you're handling it. Number 2, as much as I do like the decision around making the camera housing metal, I did notice that it has gotten a lot of micro scratches, even though I've taken really good care of the phone since coming out of the box. It's not the biggest deal, but you may want to consider a skin or something in case you want the phone looking pristine over time. But overall, as far as physical design and aesthetics, 2 months later, I do really like the Pixel 7 Pro. It's still to me such a leap forward from where Google was not too long ago in this area, and despite some minor flaws, it's a top-end phone through and through. And real quick, I hope this video is helpful. Hitting the like button would be super helpful for me, and subscribing to the channel would be even better. But let's talk about performance overall, because this is another area in which Google really tried to do a lot better. It debuted its in-house Tensor chip last year in an effort to achieve better optimization and efficiency while also boosting the Pixel's horsepower, and the Pixel 7 Pro is equipped with the Tensor G2 chip, the next iteration of this new mobile processor. And 2 months later, I will say that the improvements when it comes to performance is apparent. One of the key areas I've noticed this is with the high refresh rate display. It doesn't throttle as much as before, and generally speaking, navigating around the UI and opening apps has been buttery smooth without any signs of slowdown. And I don't game too often, but with the tests that I've done, the Pixel 7 Pro is able to handle gaming really well without any stutters or drop frames. And really, where the performance becomes exceptional on this phone is with its voice features. Whether it be using the voice recorder or Google Translate, the Pixel 7 Pro is able to very accurately transcribe voice to text, and really taking it to the next level by either parceling out different voices into text or translating it into a completely different language almost instantly. Another new and very welcome feature to this phone has been the addition of Face Unlock. It's super easy to set up, and to me, the most convenient biometric security system that works really well. Now, I should also note that the in-display fingerprint reader has gotten faster and more accurate than last year, so you do get some noticeable improvements there as well. Now, the Pixel 7 Pro also has some unique tricks up its sleeve, like the new photo and blur feature. Honestly, over the past 2 months, I don't think I've ever really used it, mainly because I haven't had to, which is a good thing, but to me, I'd put this more in the gimmick category for the here and now. When it comes to battery life, from a long-term perspective, it's pretty good. With the Pixel 7 Pro being equipped with the 5,000 mAh battery, honestly, I was expecting better, as I'm averaging around 6.5 hours of screen on time on a full charge. So it is enough to get me through a full day of moderate use. It can get a bit sporty though if I'm playing a ton of games or using Google Maps for an extended period of time, but that's not too common in my day-to-day, and what I've really enjoyed about the Pixel's battery performance has been the standby time. When asleep, this phone barely steps on the power, so if you're working most of the day, you could rest assured that when you're off, your phone will have a good amount of battery life available to help you unwind. But let's talk about the main reason why most people go with the Pixel, and that of course is the camera quality. The Pixel 7 Pro has 3 cameras on the rear, leading with a 50 megapixel primary wide-angle camera, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide, and a 48 megapixel 5x telephoto zoom. It also has a 10.8 megapixel front-facing selfie camera, and 2 months later, I'm happy to say that the Pixel 7 Pro lives up to the very high standards that were put upon it. Google's class-leading image processing magic makes the pictures coming out of this phone arguably the best in the market right now. Images are razor sharp without feeling inorganic, the colors are bright and saturated, and you get that extra dash of contrast that Pixels are known for. 2 months later, I've also really enjoyed having the multiple focal lengths at my disposal. Having the 2x is pretty clutch, especially when paired with an optical 5x zoom and an improved ultra-wide. You could use the Pixels cameras in virtually any setting and be confident about getting a great image. The Pixel 7 Pro also allows you to take macro photography for the first time, and the results have been pretty solid. My major takeaway from a long-term review perspective is that Google is really trying to provide its users with photos that look stylized and edited, which is kind of risky if you think about it. I mean, so much of image quality comes down to personal preference. Getting it wrong could be catastrophic. But kudos to Google, they've really found the perfect recipe here, as the end product looks really good and accordingly is enjoyed by many. Now, the only criticism I'll give the still image quality on the Pixel 7 Pro is that sometimes the images can come off a bit too processed. It's definitely not as bad as some of the other cameras out there, but it can come off a bit unnatural when shooting in tough environments. Now, where the cameras aren't the best is with its video quality. And I want to be careful how I phrase this, because it's not that the video quality is bad, it's actually pretty decent when compared to other Android devices. The footage is sharp and the dynamic range is okay. The colors aren't the best though, and the quality does start to go down once you get more into the frame. And when you add into the comparison what the current iPhones can do with video, it's clearly not going to be able to compete. But again, that's virtually every non-iPhone right now, so please put that into context. I really think that the Pixel 7 Pro does better with still image quality, but it's behind the iPhone in video. So at the end of the day, what's my long-term view of the Pixel 7 Pro? It's pretty dang good, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, despite some minor complaints, Google kind of nailed it with this one. They finally made a phone that looks incredible, that's also made with industry best materials and also performs fantastic. And the best part? It starts at $899. Dude, it's actually on sale right now for $749, which is ridiculous. That's a really good price for a premium phone that will give you the best Android experience and quite possibly the best still image camera quality in the market today. That's crazy value at that price, especially when you compare it to say the Galaxy S22 Ultra or the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But in case you're interested in comparing the Pixel 7 Pro to those two phones, check out these reviews here and make sure that you get as much information as you can before you make your decision.